is everybody? I hope your day was fine. Today is 28th January 2026, and on this video I want to react to something. I might not attach it, but you just listen to me explain what I'm reacting to. So there's a lady by the name of Coco Mama, and you see with Coco Mama there's a post she was reacting to. So apparently, there's an African American lady who was residing in Ghana. So unfortunately, that lady passed on. So in that post, the explanation was she wishes she was in the United States of America, or she wished somebody was reacting to that lady who had passed on and was saying, I wish she was in the United States of America, because in the United States of America she believes she would have had good medical care, and the food in the United States of America she believes is of higher quality compared to that she was taking in Ghana. So the reason as to why I'm reacting to this video is I want to give some insights about the reality down here in Africa, because the campaign that has been there by Wode and some of the things that you may have seen courtesy of Speed, and some of the things that have been exposed positively by majority of African travelers. Some of you have had that thought, like you might want to come back to Africa, and this is what I want to say. This is my opinion on that. You see, what Wode does, what Marod used to do, what Speed has done, what other content creators, the likes of Tano Ayo Tano, something like that, and all other content creators showing the beauty of Africa have done is changing the perspective about Africa. Because initially, when you thought about Africa, you only thought about poverty, no electricity, no sanitation, violence with political instability and all those other things. But what these people have done, they have shown Africa from a very different perspective, and that's what I would like us to look at. Because whether we like it or we don't like it, the challenges people are facing outside there in the world are the same challenges we are having here in Africa. And I'm saying this because could be there are some of you who might be interested in coming back and investing in Africa, which is a very good thing for those who want to invest. Because I'll be very honest with you, one of the biggest challenges we have, let me talk of East Africa, let me talk of Kenya, because this is where I'm currently based. One of the biggest challenges we have is unemployment is very high. Again, we have very limited opportunity for investment, and even investing can be a little bit tiresome because of things like corruption. That's a reality. And that's why I want you to differentiate between the perspective that has been changed. It's true, the way Africa was being portrayed in the past, especially in the Western world, in the Asian countries and all other countries, it was very, very wrong. That's not the real Africa. But we also cannot undermine or underestimate other challenges that we have. Because let's be realistic here, let's be pragmatic and logical. Corruption is a very big thing here in Africa. And especially in Nigeria, I know that country struggles with corruption. Not saying that everyone is corrupt in Nigeria. Kenya is a country, I'm a Kenyan myself. Corruption is a big thing. And I need you to understand, when corruption is very high in a country, then it means investment is going to have a lot of hurdles and challenges moving forward, because you want to do business. But then there's so many kickbacks that are demanded from you by political by government officials, whether they are local, whether they are national. They all want to eat. So imagine you want to do an investment of 1 billion. Out of that 1 billion, about 300 million is money invested in corruption. So is that business? It's not. And you see, even when the likes of Wode were traveling, they would always say they are facing so many challenges at the borders. It's either they are being asked to tip the officials, uh, they are being arrested, or this time these passports have a problem, etc. Those are some of the challenges they were facing. So that's why I'm saying, if you're really inspired in coming back to Africa, what I would highly suggest is take some time, plan yourself, save your money, and then think about investing back in Africa as a strategy, a long-term strategy. You can take even 10 years, take your time, save your money. Because I'll say this, if you have money, if you're well loaded, then life is going to be so good for you here in Africa. When you have money, life is easy for you here in Africa. You get access to a lot of things. Even high quality medical care, you'll still find it here in Africa. We have learned doctors. Here in Kenya, I know of 2 professors who deal with, one is what we call these people who deal with the male, no, it's not. I'm really forgetting that name. But one is a professor and she handles cases. People travel all the way from different parts of this continent and come to Nairobi, Upper Hill, to get medical care. So I know of 2 professors, well-known professors. Yeah, he's a urologist. So if a man is having challenges down there, that professor really does a very good job, even dealing with things like prostate issues, prostate cancer, etc. So it's not like we don't have professionals who can handle that. We do, but then you need to have money. And when you have money here in Africa, you can live a very, very beautiful life. But if you think you're moving from Africa thinking that there are opportunities here in Africa and you don't have money, it's a challenge. The reality is that's going to be a challenge. There are opportunities, yes, there are opportunities. Like now, let's talk something like tourism. If you're moving from Europe or wherever you're getting your money and it's outside Africa, if you have good money, there are opportunities for investment. Yes, there are so many. Let's think about it this way. For instance, do you know the Kenyan coast extends kilometers and kilometers, but we have limited waterfront properties. And there's extensive land, there's massive land. So if you have money, if you have good money, you can come and invest in that. Kenyan coast is a place where tourism thrives very well. So if you have money, you can come and invest. You can come invest in a very good hotel, and then you can have packages. You can develop your own packages. You can come and spot those opportunities and invest. Talk of places like Nanyuki and Laikipia. Those places, they have they are very, very conducive for tourism. So if you have money, I would highly suggest come and invest in Africa, but do not be so blinded to think that everything is as golden as these people speak about Africa. What they did is, and this is what I need us to differentiate, what they did is they showed Africa from a very different angle. Africa was seen as a very poor continent. There's nothing good about Africa. There's nothing good about black people, especially those come from Africa. That was the narrative that used to be there. What Wode and all other travelers did is they showed Africa from a very different angle. They showed Africa as a place that is full of opportunities. Yes, that is what I agree with. But as much as I want to agree with that, we cannot also be blind to the fact that we do have our own internal challenges. And honestly, if we as a continent, if the leaders in Africa would deal with things like corruption, which are always derailing the progress of Africans, then this is a continent that has a lot of potential. And I love the fact that Aisha Speed, when he came to Africa, he was not stupid that he will just go, streaming and showcasing Africa from what the Western media has been doing. He did a very nice thing, showcasing the beauty of Africa. It's safe. We have good infrastructures. The road networks here are functional. There's a live stream he did at night. I think that was in Ghana. He did a live stream at night, which tells you one thing: Ghana is very safe. And that is the perspective. So for those people who used to fear traveling to Africa, they at least now see, by the way, the continent is safe. Yes, we are not 100% in everything. We are still striving to becoming second world and first world class citizens, but so far so good. We are in progress. There's something we can achieve. There's something we have already achieved. So even as that perspective is being changed, I need you to understand, if you really want to come back and invest in Africa, make sure at least you have some money. Do not come here zero and trying to start afresh. It might not work for you. Again, the place where you want to invest in matters a lot. Do not invest in places where, I'll again give an example from where I come from. See, in Kenya, there are places where it's very easy for you to invest. Like now, I Am Marwa shows the realities of Nyabo Hansen. This online drama, forget about it. It's just online drama. It's not so real. There are real problems. There are real places where you cannot invest. Like those places, for the last 20 years, there have been fights, ethnic conflicts throughout. Of course, those are places you might not want to invest in, but in majority, I would say 90% of Kenyan land, Kenyan places, wherever you go, very, very peaceful. These are places you can come and invest in. And you guys, remember with that Minnesota scandal, Ilhan Omar and the Somalis, they used to get the money, and then that money is being invested in some parts of this country, especially in Eastleigh and Kilimani. And that's what I'm talking about. With money, come and invest, because when you invest in those places, the population of Kenya is growing. Of course, there are a lot of jobs in Nairobi, so most people will be looking for places where they can reside in. So if they reside in those places, well, great and good for them. So if you really want to invest, if you really want to do something and you have money, yes, you can come back to Africa. The other thing I would say is, there's nothing wrong with you staying in the United States, Europe, like UK, Canada, those first world countries. There's nothing wrong with that. My opinion would be, have two citizenships. Like, have one, you're a citizen of any African country, and a citizen also another country, because you see what happens is you have opportunities. There are more opportunities in those countries that that can give you money, while in Africa there are more opportunities for production. So that means it's very easy to produce here in Africa, and then you have already markets where you come from. And you being there, it's easier for you to look for markets. Like the Kenyan coffee and the Ethiopian coffee, it's the best globally. The Kenyan and the Ethiopian coffee, it's the best globally. So imagine if you have a market outside there for the Kenyan coffee. Don't you think you having two citizenships is working effectively, because you're looking at production and the market? I am producing here in Africa. Forget about the logistics and everything else. If there's a ready market, everything else will work out. And I'm just using one example of coffee. And you see, while you're there, you even understand the cost and the pricing and everything, so that you can come down here, buy land, invest widely in farming or whatever you want to do, and then there's a ready market. If you go to the Arab countries, there's a ready market for meat. So if you have a lot of goats here in Africa, all they need to do is make sure that everything is done to quality. The quality the standards that are needed are met. And from that, you can eventually get a lot. So what Coco Mama was saying in that video is, do not think that just because you're coming to Africa, whatever you've been seeing people trying to say is 100% true. It's only 100% true when it comes to the way we used to be portrayed and the reality here. The reality is Africa is good. Africa is peaceful. Africa is full of production. You go to a country like Uganda. By the way, those countries may have a very low GDP, a country like Uganda, Tanzania. But again, when it comes to food production, those countries, there's no hunger. They may be struggling and suffering from other things, but not hunger. The land there is very, very fertile, especially in Uganda, Rwanda, Burundi. Those countries, their land is very, very fertile. And we do not have to go be ignorant. You guys just go and check on Google Maps. That part of the world, that part of Africa is very green. Talk about DRC. That country, in terms of if we talk about infrastructures and all those things, of course they have their own problems with internal conflicts, but when we talk about food production in those countries, and we are talking about good quality food, it's plenty. They may have other challenges. So if you buy land there and you want to invest in agriculture, because Africa, we really do export a lot. Here in Kenya, we really export a lot of agricultural products. You think of things. There's a company by the name Kakuzi PLC. Kakuzi PLC, one of the biggest exports is avocados. And avocados, we call it the green gold. Avocados are gold here. So imagine if you have acres and acres of land and you farm avocados, and then you have a license for exports, and you see one avocado, it can even go for $1.5. And $1.5, you guys, $1.5, one avocado. Yeah? $1.5 is money that I will feed proper for a day. One avocado, the price of that avocado, when we're talking about, when we start going to euros and dollars, it's a lot of money. So if you come with a mindset of investing, but again, your market is there, you have to take advantage. You have to take advantage. If you've been staying in the United States of America or Europe or all those countries, take advantage of the market. And then come and invest in Africa, production and all those things. Come and invest here, and then the market is there. That's going to work effectively for you. and that will help to even open up the country. So you'll be playing a very nice game. And look at it this way. Think about it this way. Look at somebody like Mane. Mane is being paid in euros. Okay, he used to be paid in euros when he was playing for Liverpool. Right now, I don't know what he's being paid with, but once he collects the money there, he would come and invest in his hometown, building schools, hospitals, and all those other things. And that's the thing I'm talking about. So ensure that the opportunity is there to collect money, to take money. And I understand the bills can be a little bit higher, but there are so many opportunities there. Here in Africa, come and invest in production, and that one is going to work for you. So Coco Mama was actually addressing that. Do not come here with a mindset that the solution is Africa. No. Everywhere you go, we have challenges. The only thing that happened is the perception that was there about Africa has changed, and it needs to keep on changing. And there are opportunities for investment here in Africa if you are willing to invest. You can come, that money you have and you don't know what to do with it while you're there, you can come and invest it here in Africa. Other than that, I'm just wishing you a very lovely day. Today is 28th January 2026. Let's see how things are going to roll out. Other than that, if you may have come across this channel, it's a very young channel at 148 subscribers. If you really like my content, feel free, feel good. I would really appreciate if you subscribe, if you like, if you put on the notification bell so that anytime I upload a video, you'll be notified, and you can share it to somebody who might need this information, and especially if you like this content. Other than that, I'm really wishing you a lovely year. January is we are about to get done with January, so looking forward to a beautiful February, month of February. And that's all for now. See you in the next one.